Greetings, TheWarOwl greets you, and welcome back to the road back to Global Elite. This time as a Supreme Master First Class, which is kind of silly for the second episode, to be honest. I queued up on DE Dust 2.
Hey, TheWarOwl. Is that you, TheWarOwl?
Immediately as the round started, with our team taking the CT side first, I realized I was in for a great game, because my teammates immediately began calling positions and deciding what kind of CT side setup we would use, right down to business. It seemed everybody understood how to play the game. I later found out they were all Supreme Master First Class players. We decided to do a 2-1-2 on the first round. Then split into a 1-1-3 in subsequent rounds.
Yes.
Our strategy was a disaster. We had one player carrying the team while I struggled to make simple shots. I got killed by lurks, I failed dem 1 Deegs,
Lower B.
and failed general spray control.
They haven't pushed up yet.
He's on cat.
It was pretty embarrassing, and I became frustrated as a result. After picking up the first 3 rounds due to a good pistol round, we then fell apart. I say the strategy was a disaster because the other team picked up on it and played around it. They pushed B site on buy rounds and our guy couldn't hold it. And then on anti-eco they pushed long and I couldn't hold it. This was actually a really smart play from them. We tried to respawn and switch it up by moving me over to bomb site B, but then our players at long started to get picked on buy rounds. While I could hold off B properly, the enemy team then moved in and took bomb site A. My rounds generally consisted of me either getting mowed down immediately on an eco or having to rotate across the entire map on a buy round and failing the clutch. It wasn't very much fun. In hindsight, here's a good way to respond to this kind of play. You start out with a 3-1-1. 3 players push long A to hold off an early push. If the enemy flashed long A, they would push it every single time. This was a tell that the enemy was doing. We could have used that tell to set up a player in pit. We could flash them out as they pushed out and mow them down, nade stack them on eco, all kinds of fun ways to deal with it. After the initial 3-1-1, you then rotate one player from long to watch short, and another player to CT spawn to watch mid, leaving a single player in a stronghold position at long, such as pit. Then you can double up at mid with the crossfire, and have a player in position to rotate to B once the smoke wears off, while still having a player watch mid. The CT player can even rotate to short if they start pushing it, though this enemy team rarely used short, and you can get that intel from the mid player. We didn't do that, we just died. On eco rounds, I tend to try to get close to the corner and try to pick a player who's checking positions in the doorway by surprise. Keep in mind that the terrorists do get there first. These guys didn't play like that. They didn't check positions. They just charged in bonsai style. My standard tactics of playing long didn't work. What would have been better is having a teammate flash me out or doing a self-flash using the TheWarOwl flash and getting to pit. I feel that I could have held the pushes better from pit. Keep in mind that on CT side Dust 2, it makes sense to smoke mid so that the enemy player can't count how many players have crossed. If they count a 2-1-2 setup, they'll know you only have one player at long, making it an easy take. But the setup worked much better this way, ending our half at 6-9. This was definitely recoverable as Dust 2 is a terrorist-sided map. I personally also feel more comfortable on the T side of Dust 2, and I feel great when I get an AK-47 in my hands. All of a sudden, I started making shots. I took on the role of an entry fragger while someone else on our team took on the role of the IGL and called what we were doing. It worked out really well, and because I was able to get a number of key frags and take positions, we started to come back. I went from a pathetic bottom fragger to one of the team. We were on a roll, but then came this round. I normally op, so I considered it, until I looked over and saw all 4 of my teammates opping. They sardonically said, "That's how you win," and we commenced the round. But as a result of their ridiculous buying, we lost the round and our streak. On Dust 2 T side, you don't need an opper, but a single op is a good idea. Sometimes you can do a 2-op strategy on Dust 2 T side in particular. I wouldn't recommend it on any other map, but 3 or 4? Ridiculous. We didn't have the rifle power we needed, allowing the other team to push aggressively and end us. The op is a situational weapon. You are not Kenny S or JW. There's a time and a place for it. It was clear that the other team was being carried by a single player. This can work out fine on T side, but when your noobs have to hold their own on CT side, it turns into a disaster. I think that's what happened to the other team. I checked their profiles and they were mostly new accounts with ESEA links telling me that they were ESEA players trying out the matchmaking. On the final round, I tried to entry short A, the position I feel most comfortable playing in Counter-Strike, and got a ridiculous shot that I can only explain as a reflex shot. Reaction time gained from playing the Ninja minigame from the Kirby Superstars on the Super Nintendo in my youth. That game was amazing. It was just whoever clicked the button first won. It was that simple, and it was that good. Oh yeah, and the 15 years I played Counter-Strike. By the end of the match, we won. I had regained my confidence and was ready to play another. Thank you folks very much for watching. I am TheWarOwl, and I still don't understand why you like this series, but you do, so we're gonna make more. And I have no closer. Stay in school and don't do drugs. Oh wait, my audience is 88% adults. Go to work.